to work yet, and he's like, what the fuck do you want, you dumbass? I was not planning on talking to you today. And I said, first of all, fuck you for saying that. Secondly, get on Fortnite because something crazy is about to happen. Yep. So we get in the game, we get in right. Like, we are parachuting down, and I just kept my parachute open so I could see the whole thing. But we're parachuting down as 1:30 Eastern hits, and we see the fucking rocket launch. And then do you want to talk about what happened?
Yeah, so at first you see these, like, lasers kind of...
No, God... Fred, that's not what you saw at first.
Well, then I forget.
God damn it. So I was trying to give you a chance to speak.
It's fine.
Here's what happened for the person that fucking has a better memory, I guess. Rocket launches. At one point, you hear, and this fucking piece of it falls off. It lands on a certain part of the map, which we go to check later. And it keeps going. It keeps going all the way up into, it looks like it's going to go into outer space. Then all of a sudden, it just stops. And then it slowly starts falling down. You see it, and it turns going like straight down into the fucking ground.
And that's when the lasers come.
There you go. And that's when the lasers come.
Now can I
now you can
here?
Continue, yes.
So the lasers come, and they're pointing at the Earth, and the ship just like seemingly goes into this like blue electric kind of field, like it disappears.
Kind of like a rift a little bit.
Right, like a rift, yeah. And then but like there's no damage on the ground, so we're like, oh shit. And then
it's still like kind of in the air, and then like the rift disappears.
Yeah, and then it opens up somewhere else, and the rocket comes out there too, and it does that a couple times and keeps going in and out of this rift, and then it goes into the sky, and it like crashes into the sky sort of, and there's all these like electric looking cracks and stuff in it, which also like resembles the quote unquote rift that we keep mentioning, and
that's now there.
Nothing happens.
There.
I tried to shoot at it. We looked at it a lot.
Yeah, but that is permanent. I have a feeling like, so we're still in the middle of season 4 of Fortnite.
And mind you, there is a piece that like falls off the ship when it first goes up, and we found it. We found the piece and we destroyed it, and there was nothing in it. So I don't know. It's just there.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it's stay there. We don't know anything about it, but we're in the middle of season 4. We have not ended season 4 yet, so I have a feeling there's more to come about what the fuck is happening in Fortnite with this now rift that has affected the world.
Yep.
I guess you in there, you've been there, you sin there, you rescind there.
Yep. That's what they say.
So they say. Well, now let's kick it on over to our past selves. I hope you're doing well, Ryan and Fred from the past.
A lot of stuff happened.
In that.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah, enjoy the show. We'll hit you back next week where we will discuss real video games in the present day again. That was Glorious Topics, Fred and Ryan. Thank you for that. And now on to part 2
Glorious
from last
topics.
week's. What we just fucking talked about.
The topics we talked about were glorious?
Yeah.
Those were some glorious topics.
I wouldn't call them glorious. That's not the word I would use.
Would you calm down with the fucking glorious stuff? Are we fucking posing for photos, or are we fucking doing this shit?
Both.
They were glorious topics.
Those are some glorious topics from Game Genies this week.
Uh-oh.
What's happening?
What's happening?
What are you doing?
Sorry.
It's so good listening to music through a microphone from an iPhone speaker.
Can we finish the topic at hand? So, okay, everyone, just so y'all are aware, you have now traveled back in time.
I'm back.
Ugh.
I'm back.
Yeah, Brandon's here. If you weren't listening to the last episode, Brandon
I'm back.
is with us.
Back.
And we're going to be discussing regarding
Cutting that.
games.
Can I have entrance? Can you put some entrance music for me?
Hold on.
No. I just want Fred to cut it in later. Just in post. Do it in post.
Yeah.
Just cut me in some entrance music.
Welcoming
Brandon.
No.
Oh, my. Jesus. Fuck.
And then we get super
Copyright infringement, of course. You gotta stop that. We're gonna get super copyright infringement.
Vince McMahon holds
He's fucking,
no parts.
yeah, he does not. Okay, so
just beep it
those
all
are
out.
great topics. I appreciate what we've just heard. We haven't even actually come up in our heads with the topics y'all just heard, but I'm sure they were great. Right, Fred?
Yeah, these were probably great topics.
So where we leave off?
We left off, I guess, after PlayStation generation. So we're now on the Dreamcast.
Yeah. Yeah, we ended on N64 PlayStation. We're on a Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, GameCube.
Wait, I feel like you didn't. We ended on PlayStation, Saturn, and N64. Let's not leave Saturn out.
All right,
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're now moving on to Dreamcast as Sega moved on from Saturn to Dreamcast. So it came out, I believe, November 11th, 1999?
Did you just look that up? And
No.
then, try to
Was
act
it?
like-
Was it?
Wait, our Dreamcast came out in 9/9/99.
Oh, okay, maybe that was it. Was it 9? Wait, was it in September? I thought it was in November. Look it up.
I'm on it.
Motherfucker, come on. We pay you
That
for
was the whole
not-
thing. It was 9/9/99.
Are you sure?
That was the whole thing. That was the whole marketing
Dreamcast release date. Are you typing or
It
are you
was
just...
9/9/99 for North
you.
America.
That's what I'm saying.
Were you in Australia, Fred? Because that's when it was November. Or Ryan? It was when it was November.
Apparently I was in Australia. Hi, all mate. I'm Australian.
That's such a good accent.
What was your most memorable game of Dreamcast?
I will tell you right now, it was 2 games. Number 1, Crazy Taxi. Number 2, Shenmue.
All right.
What do y'all have? What do you got for me?
Brandon?
I was going to say Blue Stinger or possibly House of the Dead 2.
Okay.
Okay. House of the Dead was a good one.
Blue Stinger was that release date? Like was that whenever the Dreamcast came out? Was that like
It came out when the Dreamcast came out. Yep.
Nice. What was that game? Was it like a third person?
It was a third person, I want to say RPG.
I'm going to have to look this one up. But
I remember the name.
Before we get too far, I'll just name my 2 real quick. Power Stone and Ready to Rumble Boxing.
Ooh, Ready to Rumble.
Okay, I remember Ready to
Boxing.
Rumble. Power Stone sounds like a wrestler's name. Welcome into the ring, Power Stone. Stone.
I think we need to educate Ryan on Power Stone. He still does not know what Power Stone
I have no idea what Power Stone is.
Yeah.
man.
Fuck off. Hey, this is coming from the fucking guy that hates Toe Jam and Earl, so shut the fuck up.
Jam and
Fred.
Earl's a great game. Man.
Toe Jam and Earl's
is. When I
great.
was like 7.
So
Not even going
because you asked the question earlier, and I'm nothing if not Jamie looking things up. Blue Stinger was an action survival horror game. It was sort of
What?
like Sega's answer to Resident Evil. It was a fun game, but it did not take off at all.
Do y'all remember the controller for Sega? I think you can get something on. It had like a screen on the middle of the controller.
It was empty, but you
You could put something in
Yeah,
there, right?
exactly.
And what you could put in there, you would actually live.
It was
And
a memory card.
But in the memory card also acted as remember the Gigapet. It was like a
Tamagotchi.
Gigapet Tamagotchi type shit. You would keep some fucking Dreamcast little thing alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, in some games, if you had the save data from the game on this thing, so it was like a memory card with a screen on it that you plug into your controller. If, say, for instance, if you had Street Fighter, I remember there was a little Street Fighter game on it, and this little memory card had a tiny little D-pad and tiny little buttons. It sucked. Like, you couldn't really do anything with it, but they tried.
The innovation was there.
Sega was always innovating, and like we talked about on the first part of this, Sega was like always ahead. They were always like fucking ahead.
Mentally or technologically, yes, ahead. Business and marketing, not so much.
And
They're later.
execution sometimes. Was
Yeah.
not.
First Marvel vs. Capcom was on Dreamcast, I believe.
Fuck.
Like,
Oh,
man.
it was also on the PlayStation.
It was it on PlayStation 1? Mm-hmm. Huh. Did not realize that.
Talk about why the Dreamcast failed, Fred.
Piracy was a huge part of it.
So Dreamcast was another system that we never owned. Like our brother owned it. I used to play the original Soul Calibur on that a lot. I remember.
yeah.
I don't remember ever buying that game.
Yeah, because that was man. The new Soul Calibur looks just as good as the old ones. Like it has the fucking electric wrestling ropes. You know what I'm talking about?
The original Soul Calibur?
Yeah. Or is that Dead or Alive?
Dead or Alive.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
There was 2 other really good games. There's 2 other really good games that came out
Scratch that.
on Dreamcast. It was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No, absolutely fucking not.
And then after that, they released Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire? I'm not kidding. It was
I
a
would like
game-
to-
It was like a parody game where you had to
I would
just
do that.
beat up people.
All right.
Well, beat up rich people or what?
I don't know, man. I didn't play it.
Okay, so piracy was a big thing. I think marketing was pretty bad for them, and they tried to release like a year or two too soon. So they, by the
I
time
think
the
it was too soon. No,
Well, no,
it was perfect.
here's what I'm saying. By the time PlayStation 2 and the GameCube came out, they were actually ahead of technologically and hardware wise of the Dreamcast.
Well, the Dreamcast wasn't DVD; it was CD still, which was part of the problem.
Yeah,
and that's what led to the pirating, because like DVD burners didn't come out for a while after that. So even if PlayStation didn't have the DRM that they had built into PlayStation 2, you couldn't easily burn it. Whereas by the time Dreamcast came out, CD burners were like proliferate at that point.
Right.
And but a lot of the games
look
that came
at
out
the
on Dreamcast,
big brains on Brandon proliferant. Fuck you.
Well, let's.
A lot of the games that came out on Dreamcast, though, I feel like I ended up playing more on PC than I played on Dreamcast. Worms Armageddon was another game on Dreamcast
Worms
that
was
I
a great
played.
game.
Yeah, Worms was a great game.
So yeah, piracy ultimately led to the death of the Dreamcast. But I think Dreamcast as a console also had pretty low sales. In fact, the N64 had low sales.
Really? I didn't know that.
I bet you guys think that did really well. But
I mean, but at the time, Sony was just killing it, though. I see what you're saying.
Well, and the thing about Dreamcast is, like, I knew it had low sales because obviously Sega never released another system after it.
Do you remember the fucking Sonic Adventure game? That was a complete piece of shit.
Oh, so awful.
And they had Sonic Adventures 2, which introduced Shadow, and that was at the end of the lifespan of Dreamcast.
The crazy thing is, like, we're sitting here talking about Dreamcast, and I know I've named a lot of games that I've looked up on Wikipedia, but, like, you can't really remember a memorable game from Dreamcast, and the same thing was said about
told
Saturn.
you Crazy Taxi.
Well, yeah, but I mean, sure. Crazy
That was
Taxi
made by
fun.
Sega, wasn't it?
It was also an arcade game originally.
Yeah.
Like, they had a lot of arcade ports more than anything. And, like, you look at the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast.
They didn't have an identity, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we talked about PlayStation, last time, and how they had a ton of games, but there's also, like, very key games you can latch onto. And Saturn and Dreamcast didn't really have that. They didn't have, like, sure, they had Sonic.
They tried with Sonic. It was just bad.
They were putting him out because it had the Sonic character, and the game itself was not interesting.
They're still doing that.
Yeah,
now.
Sonic Mania is the only good thing to come out of Sonic in the last couple of years.
Yeah. The thing about Dreamcast is there were so many good games on it that.
Well, Shenmue.
I mean, Shenmue. I'm not sure. There are games that don't hold up today, but yes, Shenmue was one of the games that was really a big Dreamcast game. Soul Calibur was another one. Sonic Adventure for the time somehow was good. I mean, looking back, I don't know how.
I played the first like couple hours and I was like, I don't know what to do, and it doesn't tell me what to do.
See, I enjoyed that game from the get-go. Maybe we were just different types of gamers. I mean, you've expressed before that you're not much of a platform, player. And
well, they went from like, it was supposed to be, this cool open world. It was supposed to do what Mario 64 did for Mario. That was what Sonic Adventures was going to do for Sonic, and it was not that.
Well, and I mentioned that I played a lot more Dreamcast games on PC than I played them on Dreamcast. I think that was part of the problem. They didn't have exclusives. They had games, but none of them were exclusive.
Like Jet Set Radio and the...
I remember that.
That wasn't exclusive.
Grand Theft Auto 2, before it went 3D, when it was still top-down, was
Crazy
not exclusive.
Taxi, that was in arcades. What about Phantasy Star Online?
I don't even know what you just said to me.
What the fuck are you
Phantasy
saying?
Star Online?
Was it an actual online game?
Yes.
What? On Dreamcast?
Again, Sega was ahead of the curve.
I do remember there was some
games
sort of...
online with voice chat. There was
with voice chat?
That same exact thing that you plug into your Dreamcast controller that had the screen on it, you could plug a microphone into that.
I didn't know that.
There was also a game called Seaman. If you guys have never heard of this game, there's this... I swear, look it up.
Yeah, it sounds
Come
like
on,
you're fucking with me at the moment.
Seaman starts out like this. There is a fish tank filled with water. There's like an octopus in it. You fuck with the octopus. I don't remember exactly what happens. Then all of a sudden, all these little frog like things with human faces hatch.
I don't like this at all.
No, Sega really was ahead of its time. They were releasing porn games well before we started talking about it.
Just bear with me. So then, after these little like frog things with human faces hatch out of these eggs, they start to kill each other. Some of them just die of starvation. You have to feed them. Then
Are we still talking about Phantasy Star?
No, I'm talking about Seaman.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Then they start talking gibberish. You have a microphone. A microphone comes with this game. You end up talking to this thing.
I remember because it's like a fucking face of a dude on a fish.
On a frog.
Or frog, whatever.
Yes. And eventually it grows into like an adult frog human thing that talks to you.
For
like,
what reason?
In full conversation.
Yeah,